I'm going to tell you exactly what to do in the next 30 seconds. Then I'm going to spend the rest of the video explaining why. Okay, so number one, you need to download an investing app on your phone and get yourself a stocks and shares ISA. Literally takes 10 minutes. The most complex thing you're going to need is your national insurance number. Number two, buy a fund called VWRP. Put in the search box, it'll come up no props. And number three, set up a monthly direct debit, 10 quid, 50 quid, 100 quid, something you can actually sustain, and then just leave it completely alone. That's it. That's the whole thing. VWRP is the Vanguard FTSE All World ETF. It holds roughly 4,000 companies across 45 countries, across developed markets, emerging markets, different sectors, things like that. And it sits in a single line across your mobile phone screen. It's the biggest fund of its kind across Europe, and it has about $75 billion in it. If you close this video right now, don't, but if you close this video right now and do those three things, you've done more than most people. You know, 1 in 5 people only have a stocks and shares ISA. By having a stocks and shares ISA, you're already better off than 4 other people. Some people never get as far as downloading the app, which is an absolute tragedy, because that's how you start. And that's it. Video done. Just kidding. Now, the real reason I'm making this video. A few weeks ago, I put together a beginner portfolio and it's done very, very well for our channel. We've had over almost 4,000 views already on it. And quite rightly so, because it's got some excellent picks in it. It's the actual beginner portfolio I would build today with £1,000. Genuinely, if you've copied and built that portfolio, you've done nothing wrong. You are ahead of the game. That video is still completely relevant today, tomorrow, and we're never taking it down. But the comments have taught me something. And in all walks of life, every day is a school day. Some of them were sharp, there were fair comments. Some of them were pointing out the overlap, which was on purpose. There were people arguing about the Bitcoin allocation, which is great because the video's doing its thing, it's generating conversation. And none of it was wrong, I might add, it's just difference of opinion. The rest of the comments though did say something slightly different. Something maybe I think I overlooked. A lot of people watched it and came away a little bit more confused than when they started. Those people came over the weekend to find out what to do on a Monday morning, and they left the video with a little bit of homework, which they didn't really want. And to be honest, some of the comments arguing over the weightings left people feeling a little bit more confused. That doesn't clarify anything, that just paralyzes people from making the right decision. So I've come round to something actually. The answer for most people who left that feeling confused is that they're not looking for a better portfolio, they're just looking for less decisions to make. So let's deal with the overlap problem. That was an obvious choice, which is what the majority of the comments are about. It's the single biggest criticism my video got. And I hold my hands up, it is an overlap, but there's a reason the overlap's in there. The global fund's biggest organizations are Google, Tesla, Nvidia, Microsoft, the Magnificent Seven, the biggest companies in the S&P 500. NASDAQ tracker, the biggest companies in the S&P 500, Google, Microsoft. You see where I'm going with this, right? Those are the biggest companies in the world, and they feature in tons of funds all over the place. Different funds, different names, but the same companies exist in there. But they exist in there for good reason. Because when you buy funds that overlap like that, you've bought the same 7 companies, same Magnificent 7, even 5 of the best companies in the world. You've bought them multiple times and you've paid fees on all of those. So I understand that. That's not diversification. It's a bit like duplication, which feels like diversification. And it's really hard to spot unless you know what you're looking at, unless you understand fund fact sheets, unless you know what you're doing. And that's what happened in the comments. People who knew what they were doing understood there was a decent amount of overlap in those funds. And if you're brand new to this, you're just not going to spot that. What I will say though is, when funds overlap and they are high performing funds, what's the problem, right? If both funds performing well, have a great track record of performance, and don't get me wrong, previous and historic performance isn't a guaranteed future performance, but when funds are performing well and you overlap them, you are still just doubling down on what's working. So I don't see the problem. But conversely to that, that's why you have one fund. It's designed to solve that problem specifically. Because technically you can't overlap with yourself. It's one holding. The beauty about those funds, overlapping or not, is that there's so many different holdings in there. The difficulty with choosing different funds is that all the companies that are worth having in there are in there. But why would you put the bulk of your money in something that isn't representative of good value and good performance? The reality is, it's a good problem to have because you're going to have the best companies in all different funds all over the world. It's a nice problem to have. And the best thing about it is those things are self-regulating, right? It's like the Premier League or the NBA. You know, the worst teams kind of get relegated and the best teams come in. And if one of those companies goes pop overnight, the whole fund isn't wrecked. Ultimately, it self-cleans. You know, the cream rises to the top. The best companies will always be in there. And that's why having ultimately one fund does solve it all. So I accept that. Now the cost, I need to be straight with you on that one because the cost actually changed a few weeks ago, but it's not huge. VWRP charges 0.14% a year. On 10 grand, that's £14. That's 2 cups of coffee at Starbucks probably, and maybe, a biscuit. The fee used to be 0.19, but was cut earlier this year, just after we made that video. So if you've seen someone online recommending FWRG, they're not wrong, but the cost is absolutely marginal. I wouldn't get hung up on the cost. These are all relatively cheap ETFs to invest in. I'm choosing VWRP primarily because it's on every UK trading platform. You'd be hard pushed to find an app that doesn't hold it. Plus, it dwarfs every other ETF fund in its holdings. It currently holds 75 billion. And those are 2 reasons why I'm choosing VWRP. The point of the matter is the tick is never the point. They all do the same things at relatively the same amount of money. But I'm going with the big one with more safety net. Now, the 4th reason I'm making this video, and there were no real complaints about this, because it is as sure is, you have to do this inside a stocks and shares ISA. Do not get confused with the GIA, a general investment account. You are not sheltered from UK tax. You are not sheltered from reporting your profits to HMRC. In a stocks and shares ISA, which will be offered to you when you open your trading app, that's where you buy your shares. It's sheltered from UK tax, and there is no reporting because the platform does all the reporting to HMRC on your behalf. This is literally the most important part of that. The best thing about the choice I've made in VWRP is that it's an accumulating fund. What that means in real English is that dividends are paid out from the shares of the companies you own, and they are automatically reinvested. So that just tops up your balance every time. It's like the interest earned on your shares and the gains, they're just put back into the pot to get that compounding effect over time. Automatic reinvestment inside a tax-efficient wrapper added with your direct debit. There is genuinely nothing left for you to administer in this. Now, this is the last reason I'm making this video, and it's the one I only actually care about, because starting is the most important thing. Starting is the education. Investing doesn't come to you. You have to go and find it. If you start, the algos all around there will stop giving you investing content. You'll start to do your 1,000 hours, 10,000 hours. You'll start to educate yourself about these things. You'll start to read different things. You'll start to get an understanding of what these terms mean in the glossary. You'll start subscribing to YouTube channels that offer advice on this stuff. Subscribe below. Because nobody arrives at investing knowing what to do. Everyone starts in the bottom left corner. Their portfolio starts on 0. But the ones who make it, the ones who go on to build that wealth, to build that financial freedoms, they're the ones who start. Somewhere down the line, they started. If that isn't you, today's the day you start. Yes, start with one fund, but eventually you'll want to diversify out. You'll pick your own stocks. Just make sure they're not a big part of your portfolio, because you'll have too much money riding on one business success. You don't want to be in that position. You want to be in diversified, global and sector-specific funds. The more you learn, the more you understand, the more you're able to pick those funds. And that's the bit that makes it fun, because good investing is boring. It's the opposite of what we should all believe. There's no instant reward. There's no instant gratification. Investing is one of those things that 20 year down the line thanks you today for. Tough sell. That's why my last video wasn't wrong. It was just the wrong first step for some people. This is the first step. That's the second one. That was the beginner portfolio. This is the beginner portfolio. One fund, 3 things, 10 minutes of admin, done. You just have to sit through decades of leaving it alone. To be completely clear, I'm not telling you what to buy. I'm not a financial advisor, but I do have 25 years investing experience. And if I could go back in time and start again in my 20s, this is exactly what I would do. But if the last video was too much, this is the least you can do. And if the least you can do is all you can do, it beats doing nothing. Link below for the full ISA comparison website. That's what the Investor Center is. We review every platform with real money. We trade real money, real portfolios on this channel. If you like what you see, give it a subscribe. If you want to go and find the best ISA with deals and bonuses that give you shares the moment you open them, hit the link below. Trust me, it's worth it. If you haven't opened that up today, hit the link below. There's some deals on there. I think there's one on there at the moment, which gives you £50 straight away. £50 all yours. Go and buy a stock you want. Go and buy a share you want. It gets you through the door. It gets you started. See you on the next one.